Wayfair. We talk a lot about what it is for, but we actually never talk about who should not do it. So if you don't know what CastleGate is, hold on just a second and I'll tell you all about it. My name is Heather Roberts, and we help home decor and furniture suppliers grow their e-commerce sales. And we do this through all sorts of ways, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So we help you grow your e-commerce sales channel, right? So let's dive in. CastleGate. CastleGate is Wayfair's distribution center, and they have locations all over the country: New Jersey, Kentucky, Florida, Georgia, Texas, and Colorado. And it is one of the big initiatives for Wayfair, right? It's one of the ways that they're going to really help businesses and suppliers scale and grow fast. But, well, not the but, let me say, and why would you use CastleGate? Well, in 2022, Wayfair's other big initiative is something called geo-sorting. And the geo-sorting algorithm puts the products that are closest to the customer higher in their search ranking or in their feed, right? So those are all the reasons companies should. But I'm going to tell you the mistakes that companies make and why they should not ever, ever, ever use CastleGate for these reasons. Number one, do not put products in CastleGate that don't sell. Let me repeat that. Do not take things that are not selling and put them in CastleGate. CastleGate is only for your top selling items. It is not a place to put new products. Do not ever, 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 ever put new products in CastleGate. CastleGate is for tried and true, haha, no pun intended if you do the tried and true program. This is for tried and true and tested and top selling items. It is a complete waste of money if you put new items or if you put things that don't sell. So please save yourself the aggravation and save me from having you call me and say, I don't understand, I use CastleGate, but it's not working. Let me tell you a story about Tammy. Tammy was one of our students in our small group consulting. And against my advice, she took some products that were slow selling in her line, and she was heavy in inventory, and she paid the money to have them shipped to the Kentucky CastleGate facility. And those products sat there and sat there and sat there. On one of our coaching calls, she said to me, hey, Heather, CastleGate just isn't working for us. And I said, well, Tammy, I don't understand. How is that? She goes, well, I put these sculptures that just weren't selling. We had a lot of inventory and I needed to move it fast. So I put those in CastleGate and they're not selling. Y'all, I looked at Tammy and I said, so do you think that there is a fairy godmother sitting in the CastleGate in Kentucky and going bibbity bobbity boo? Psh, and all of a sudden those products are going to sell? I was like, Tammy, things that aren't selling in your line aren't going to all of a sudden magically sell because you put them in CastleGate. It doesn't work like that. You don't, just like in Amazon's FBA, you don't put your duds in there. Instead, you put your top sellers, right? CastleGate is not meant to be a clearance solution. There are other companies that handle all that. That's not a CastleGate function. So she had paid all of the money to have the goods shipped there. She had been paying for her storage space. And then because they weren't selling, she had to pay to bring them back to her facility in Florida. That was money that she just flushed down the tubes. And that's crazy. There's another student of ours in our small group consulting, and her name is Keki, and she had towels that had been sitting on her shelves in her warehouse for 3 years. And she says, hey, Heather, I have this great idea. I finally figured out how I'm going to move my towels. And I said, great, you're going to use one of the clearance companies we've been talking about. And she goes, no, I want to send them to CastleGate. I told her the story of Tammy. Luckily, Keki did not send those towels to CastleGate. Otherwise, she would be having to return them to her facility. Instead, she went with the clearance program that we had talked about in one of those companies. So what I think is the thing that everybody is all hyped up and talks about with CastleGate is CastleGate this, CastleGate that, CastleGate this, CastleGate that. But nobody actually says, don't do CastleGate if. Don't do CastleGate if you don't have any, you don't know, you're brand new and you don't know what your top sellers are. Don't do CastleGate if you're a brand new seller on Wayfair. Give it a time, give it 6 months to see what's, resonating with the customer. Don't do CastleGate with things that don't sell. Don't use CastleGate as your clearance. Instead, use CastleGate what it was meant for. It was meant to be a tool that you leverage to get your top sellers more exposure and more sales, and grow your sales on average of 30% when it is used correctly and effectively. If you have questions about how to do this and how you want to grow your sales, and maybe you're a little curious about our small group consulting, then I would love it if you would book a call with me. There's a link in the description, and we can sit down and talk about how we can help you figure that all out with Wayfair and all the other e-commerce accounts. So, all right, if you like this video, hey, do me a favor and like it. Thanks.